welcome back to Coteries of New York. Last time? I don't remember what happened last time. That was like a week ago for me. This time, it's time to rest. And right into it. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the scene is empty tonight. Instead, the old, crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise even on high-end hardware. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. Ed? You approach the bar as the bartender's done pouring a beer to an older guy in a grayed-out, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. Praying? Uh-oh. She turns to you. What can I get you? Hey, is Mia around? No, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Oh yeah, that's right! She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter, some kind of YA vampire novel? I don't know what that is. And flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. Told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, sleeve tattoo on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer sent here to spy on us by the cam. Get me the name of his master and write it on this card, then return it to the bar. Actually, a little curious what they have to say for this one. That's pretty much what I thought. Retainer, a human who serves a vampiric master. Kindred rarely go without at least a few of these mortals, both for convenience and protection. I tend to find they're more trouble than they're worth. Unless you can get like a really, really good one. Usually a player character. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. Yeah, we're all good for now, so might as well burn some blood. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you. So are other people, doing double takes while passing your table. Hey, you. I seen you here before? Possible. I'm a regular in this joint. Who are you? It's weird. Kind of place. This place is kind of a dump. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What, do you mean Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing. His eyes dart over your shoulder. You thought you have him cornered. That's not right. But he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. He's bolting all right. Yeah, why not? Throwing caution to the wind, you focus your blood and give chase after Bruce. He might be faster than a human, but his abilities are a fraction of yours. He dashes into a nearby alley and you follow suit. Before he can jump a fence, you tackle him to the ground. A short brawl later, you're standing a few meters apart, Bruce eyeing you with hatred. Oh yeah, let's do this. I've been wanting to just hurt someone for no reason. Oh, we're getting hungry. You clash again, but this time you're not pulling any punches. Bruce's ribs crack, you dislocate his shoulder, break a few of his teeth. When you're done with him, he's a mess. Please. Oh, fuck. No more, man, please. Ready to talk? Samira. Her name's Samira, okay? Just no more, please. You leave him there, battered and alone. You should have talked when he had the chance. Or at least that's what you're telling yourself as you make your way back to the leech pit. He really should have. Yeah, he'll heal. Eventually. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and turn Mia's note to the other side. Samira. You put the name down on the piece of paper, hoping you got it right. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on one sec. She wanted me to pass something on to you. I can't read tonight. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Oh, right, and this. An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think about everything. She said she'll be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find the phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no messages left. It's got a version of Snake, though. Ooh, I like Snake. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully, your educated guesses based on the scraps of info you collected will be enough to have Mia call you. And that's it for that, I guess. Yeah, sure, let's go talk to D'Angelo. We got time. I'll watch this take like half an hour. As you make your way up the stairs, you notice that D'Angelo's office is surprisingly quiet. You were half expecting something akin to a scene from The Exorcist, with Senna belching out curses and your companion sprinkling her with, well, whatever it is vampires use for holy water. I would assume blood. It's usually blood with these guys. They're kind of one-track mind. What you witness instead as you open the door is a picture of Serenity. The girl, although still curled up in the corner, is sitting calmly with her eyes fixed on the pages of some pulpy detective novel. She doesn't even register your presence. Sitting behind his desk, D'Angelo seems to be looking over some files, puffing on his usual brand of cigar. Seeing no trace of Larson, you assume he must have gone back to his family. Noticing your presence, the vampire detective leans back in his chair and gives you a tired look. Sorry, got lost in thought for a second there. Vampire detective, that just sounds like it would be perfect for a low-rent manga. Or a low-rent Marvel comic. Or DC comic, for that matter. I want to see a vampire detective comic, okay? If you know of any, in the comments, please. I probably won't end up looking it up, but I'll appreciate the gesture. Hey there, kid. Glad you can make it. Oh, I wouldn't miss this for the world. Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss this for the world. Clearly noting your sarcasm, I wasn't being sarcastic, he hits back with a smile that could express anything but amusement. Right. Make yourself comfortable. We have some heavy shit to figure out, you and I. I've been going over the case files, mulling over our options. Surprise, surprise, they all suck donkey dick. Or how we go about this, someone gets fucked over. Larson. Us. We have case files? Oh, wait, did you say case files? We have those? Hey, say what you will about me, but I take my work seriously. And as my faithful assistant, you should too. So, here's what we can do. 1. We grab Santa and take her to Elysium and make a case for her to Prince Panhard. 2. We get Valerie to back off by feeding her the dirt I got on Larson. 3. We try to get Santa out of the city. Come on, kid, I can hear them thoughts bouncing around your head from over here. Out with it. Oh, man. Oh, I missed that. Assuming we can get her out of the city, what makes you think she won't kill again? Hey, I ain't just gonna let her loose in another state and forget about it. I got some people up north. People I can trust. They might be able to help her. Or at least keep her safe and make sure she doesn't do anything stupid. What kind of dirt do you have on Larson anyway? Must be some serious shit. Oh, it is. A few years back, Second Inquisition led a coordinated attack on New York Kindred. Operation Lights Out, they called it. Nasty fucking business that was. A lot of good vampires died. Some of them I knew personally. Larson was one of the Inquisition's first targets, but when they got to him, he managed to convince them to spare his life. In exchange, he fed them info on a fellow Camarilla member, one Nicky the Chop. Suffice to say, Nicky didn't make it through the night.
Okay, time's wasting. What do you think we should do?
Wait, you're letting me make the call?
Look, kid, I've been at it all day, mulling it over, and all I got for my trouble was a splitting headache. I just don't know anymore. All I'm asking for is you honest opinion. Just pick one and make a case. Convince me it's the right thing to do, or the least wrong, at least. So, one more time. Bring the girl to Elysium, trade her life for Larson, or sneak her out of town. Which one would you go with?
Well, initially, I was gonna go with Sana, because she is like a wanton murderer. But on the other hand, after what I just heard about Larson, fuck that guy. Okay, let's look at him. Here, we might get a pat on the back from the prince and maybe the sheriff for doing a good job. Here, the Scourge will like us more, and we'll probably get a pat on the back from the prince and sheriff. Here, fucking everybody's gonna hate us, and Santa's probably gonna find a way to keep killing people. And Larson gets to keep being a dick. These two make Larson happy. This one will probably result in Larson's death, and make everybody else happy. Except Santa. I'm gonna need a minute. Gonna pause the video and think about this. Okay, back. So, I did some thinking. Maybe a minute's worth. And, I came to the conclusion that we should probably turn Santa in. Because on the one hand, Larson really should have been executed for, being a rat. On the other hand, Santa is fucking crazy. Almost certainly gonna keep violating the Masquerade and killing people that's seemingly random. It's all of these options are bad, but this feels like the least bad, I guess? I don't know, maybe you feel differently. If so, buy the game yourself. Bringing her to Elysium seems like the most reasonable thing to do.
And the cruelest. Or, at the very least, the most risky. We can't convince Panhard to give Santa a shot. The girl's as good as dead.
Then let's be convincing. Then we better be extra convincing.
So be it. Fuck. Do me a favor, kid. Watch her for a few minutes, okay? I gotta make some arrangements, make a few calls.
He catches himself, looks at you with an expression of the phoniest of phony guilts.
But not, like, with a phone or anything. Because, that would make me a naughty boy, which I'm clearly not.
He walks out of the office. Through the frosted windows, you see him instantly go for his clamshell phone. Screw it, doesn't really make a difference at this point. You turn to the girl, who still has her nose in the book. I feel bad, but at the same time, she's a fucking serial killer. Hell of a week, eh? She looks up from the book, her eyes glaze over. Hell. A shiver runs down your spine. You decide it's best to leave her to her reading and spend the next few minutes in complete silence. Finally, D'Angelo staggers back into the room.
Alright, I called a friend of mine who works in the art hole. She says the prince is there right now in her private quarters. We'll just have to figure out a way to get an audience.
He walks over to Santa and crouches beside her. Speaking softly, he takes the book out of her hands and gently strokes her head.
Hey, darling. I need you to listen very carefully. Gonna go for a little trip, okay? You just stay quiet and stay close to me. Can you do that? Stay close to D'Angelo.
She squints, trying her best to concentrate. D'Angelo.
Close enough.
Something akin to a smile creeps up on her face. It's as close to happy as you've seen her. Gift. Not heard. D'Angelo returns her smile.
You're welcome.
He turns to you, putting his serious face back on. He nods. Looks like it's time to go. The art hole welcomes you with all its usual weirdness and grotesqueries masquerading as contemporary art. Right now, however, art is the last thing on your mind. As the three of you make your way through the crowd of usual suspects, D'Angelo gestures towards a lone figure standing in the corner. To your surprise, it turns out to be Sophie. As you approach, she raises an eyebrow, taking an especially long look at Santa. And here I thought nothing in this world could surprise me anymore. Mind telling me what it is you're doing here? D'Angelo nods courteously.
We're here to see Prince Panhard. I don't suppose you could help us get an audience.
I think you're confusing me with the Prince's Herald. An honest mistake in this lighting. Huh, I honestly didn't know the Harpy and the Herald were the same thing. The Domain Herald, or Harpy, knows everyone and all their secrets and will share them with others for the right price. Harpy is an originally negative epithet, but some wear it with pride, knowing the role of information broker is valued in any court. Essentially, they're the local gossip, like the official gossip. They're usually simultaneously one of the most hated people in the entire domain and most interacted with, because everybody wants to know everybody else's dirt. Still, I'm afraid you're out of luck. From what I've heard, the prince is not accepting visitors. Oh, we wouldn't be asking if it wasn't important. I'm sure the prince will be thankful for bringing this matter to her attention. Very nice, very slippery, and very futile. As I've already stated, the prince is not accepting visitors. Suddenly, you hear a voice from behind you. It's the last voice you could possibly want to hear right now. Maybe I can help. You look over to D'Angelo. He seems frozen in place, not able to move a single muscle. This is bad, very bad. Keeping things casual, Kadir tips an imaginary hat in your general direction. When he looks at Santa, you notice his expression sour, if ever so slightly. Perhaps this is a conversation best had in private. Follow me. Before leaving, he nods at Sophie. Langley. Kadir. Again, you glance over to D'Angelo, but he doesn't even acknowledge it. He seems to be in a state of deeply internalized panic. Not seeing any way to get out of this situation, you follow Kadir into a small backstage area. There, he stops and addresses you once more. Good to see you, D'Angelo. It's been a while since you last showed your face around here. And I see you've brought friends. So, how about we skip the unnecessary drama and you two leave without incident, while I take care of our thin blood guest. Mentally ill. You can't hold her responsible for her actions. I'm not holding her responsible for anything. She's a problem. It's my job to solve problems.
Doesn't have to be this way. Just let us talk to Panhard.
That's Prince Panhard to you, D'Angelo. And no, your harebrained scheme isn't going to work. Isn't gonna work, whatever. What exactly do you think was going to happen? Bring the Dustborn with a blood hunt on her head to my doorstep and... what? Hope that the prince stays my cruel hand? Honestly, I thought you were smarter than that. But I promise to make it quick, painless. That's as much as you'll get, so don't push it. And with that, he turns to Santa. His expression grows softer, almost kind, and he grabs her by the hand, gently. There's not even an inkling of violence in his demeanor. Come, my child. You've been very brave. The pain is almost over. Pain. Over. With blissful ignorance, she looks at you and D'Angelo as the sheriff walks her out of the room. Your companion looks broken, as if something inside him just snapped. Without even looking at you, he utters under his breath, I killed her. You tried to save her. If anyone's the killer here, it's Kadir.
Kadir does what he's ordained to do. I can't be mad at a scorpion for using its sting. No, this one's on me. I really thought I could save her.
Not really knowing what to say, you raise your hand to pat him on the back. You stop yourself in mid-motion. Somehow it doesn't seem like the thing to do. You leave the art gallery and head back to Red Hook. On your way, you keep thinking about Santa, and whether now's the exact moment Kadir brings her final death. It's not a pleasant journey. Slowly, clumsily, you make your way back up there. You make your way back to the grain terminal. No words are spoken, no bad jokes made, no monologues muttered, and no smiles exchanged. There's only silence and vacant stares. As you head up the stairs to D'Angelo's office, you can feel the tension rising. You can tell the moody sleuth has reached a breaking point. He walks into his office and leans on his cluttered desk. You figure now's as good a time as any to break the silence. Why don't you grab some shut-eye? It's been a long night. The moment you finish your sentence, D'Angelo leans in and sweeps all his stuff off the desk. Notepads, bits of paper, and what looks like a cheap imitation of an antique lamp. It all comes crashing onto the floor. It doesn't stop there, as he grabs a heavy file cabinet and knocks it over. Slowly but surely, the once quiet office turns into a heap of crumpled paper and broken furniture. The tantrum lasts for mere seconds, but as you stand there watching, it feels like forever. Finally, D'Angelo stops and looks up at the ceiling. It's hard to tell if he's had enough or simply run out of stuff to throw around. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catches your eye. It's a small paperback novel, the same you saw Santa reading earlier tonight. It must have landed there while D'Angelo was giving the room a royal trashing. You pick it up. The title on the cover spells, in huge letters, The Longest Night and Other Stories. The smaller caption underneath reads, Another collection of stories in the Gianni D'Angelo saga. What in the actual fuck? I don't know if that's a real book, series, or whatever. I don't know. You flip it over and are immediately drawn to the picture on the back cover. If not for a lack of flaky skin and distorted features, you'd say the guy looks very similar. The name next to the picture, Reginald Finch. You stand there, not even knowing where to start. Even in his current state, D'Angelo, or whatever his name is, remains one step ahead of you.
Yeah, that's me in the picture. Reggie fucking Finch. Haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't planning to.
You named yourself after one of your characters?
Afraid it's more than that. I sort of became him. See, Reggie Finch was a pushover. Small-time journalist and a wannabe writer. He would have never survived out there among the coteries of New York.
Title drop!
Gianni D'Angelo, on the other hand. Honestly, it just sort of happened. Because it was the only way I could make sense of it all. Ow. Oh, this is really getting to me. I mean, once you wake up looking like this, realizing your life and all that you were is gone forever, can't really blame me for trying to at least make it interesting.
I guess, to some extent, we all act in front of others. We make up characters, idealized versions of ourselves. It gives us something to live up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still weird, but it's not that weird. D'Angelo. For a moment, he seems to be mulling over what you just told him. Finally, he picks up the ashtray off the floor, rummaging through the ashes, he finds a mangled, half-finished cigar. He sticks it in his mouth and lights up, the flame of the lighter reflecting the shades. He smiles at you ever so slightly.
Thanks, kid. Tell you what, how about you take the rest of the night off? I need some time to get my shit in order. Start with this office. Some dumb asshole made one hell of a mess of it. Sorry, the pain in my throat's starting to distract me.
You smile and nod. He nods back.
I'll be seeing you.
And so you leave him to his thoughts. No way to be sure, but you have a feeling he's gonna be alright. And for that, we got an achievement. Yeah, I told him it was fine to be like that, because, well, aside from me kind of role-playing this myself, you know, huge nerd that I am, I don't care what he wants to be. If it makes him happy, it makes him happy. You do you, my man. And that's where we're going to leave off for tonight, because I'm about to start puking up blood if I keep doing that voice anymore. Or any voice for that matter, from the sound of it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.